G'day guys, it's PowerShell Michael here. Yeah, today it's going to be a bit of PowerShell and chill. We're just going to be working on implementing this database for the PowerShell 101 with Michael and Christian. So today we'll be putting in, I'll be writing the database, setting up the database, getting the connection string sorted, all that kind of stuff. I am going to need to change some of the database bits and pieces with my invoke SQL functions, so we're going to be doing that as well. At the same time there, we obviously also hopefully we can get these functions tested as well. So sit back, relax, and hopefully you guys enjoy the ride. So let's get stuck into it. Alrighty, so well, the first thing we need to do work out what I actually need to do. So I'm working with two. I'm just going to work with HP start job. What we're going to do. So this is my my config here. This is my connection string. So realistically, we can just basically say we've got a database name. Encrypt true. I'm just going to add an encrypt switch. So I'm just kind of looking at all the different bits and pieces. I might persist security info. What I'm going to do is work out the extra items that we need to add to this function to get it to work. I think. Okay, so we just need to add these 4 parameters. They can just be optional, and then we can just concatenate onto the end. So if instance name. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do. Why is it? Yeah, I'm gonna rewrite this entire part, and then we're gonna rebuild the entire process. So command thing. I'm just eating some grapes here at the same time. But I'm thinking what we're gonna do. Clean this up. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do here is actually build out just going to quickly go jump on now what the connection string info is. ID, username, password, trusted connection tree. So what we're going to do is we're going to start building out our param sets based on that. So we're just going to say string it's usually true, or we're going to get them to specify, or yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. Just going to add that. So what I'm going to do here, command text, server name, database name, instance name. I'm going to move instance name up to before database name. It's going to be position 2. Invoke read, that's going to be the last value. Then we're going to have, I'm thinking, trusted connection. Also include initial catalog. Actually, no, I'm not going to include that. So we're just going to go trusted connection, and then I'm going to start writing my parameter sets. So do I have any parameter sets defined here? No, I don't. That is fine. Let's quickly Google for some parameter set names so I can quickly just copy and paste them in. Oh, okay, that's really broken. Yep, that is really broken. Bingo. So what we can do here, we will just use that bad boy. We'll have two parameter sets, I think. We'll have a we're going to find out how many parameter sets we have, but I think we're just going to need two, which is just an integrated login and username password. Prompted login. I'm just going to call it manual login. Maybe call that login. Alright, so got a command text. Yep. That's all done. Now what we need to do, just trying to work it out now. Now it's just a matter of building these out. So server name, these would be the same. So I'm just going to grab that, get rid of that, put that there. Oh, look at that. It's already got one. It's already got a. Do this. I might actually finish this up last because I feel like I'm gonna get caught out. And I need to get this right. So server name, instance name, database name, trusted connection, database name already. Oh, did we already have that? Yeah, that's because we're adding stuff. So after database name, we should probably put old mates in here. Maybe. Yeah, we'll put old mates in there. I'll clean the positioning up after this. Then we'll probably have encrypt. We can actually just set, to be honest, we can actually just set that to be false. Yep, we'll just enforce it to be false. That's fine. Switch encrypts. parameter like so, mandatory, true, yep. It's a switch. What's it carrying on about missing? Missing. Next thing we need to do is trust service certificate, connection timeout, trusted connection. So this will be its own parameter set as well, because you need to, if you don't specify encrypt, there's no point needing that. So we can put that in a parameter set. I feel like that can just be a switch as well. This is going to be quite complicated. Yeah, much more complicated than I thought, but oh well, we'll just keep cracking on with it. Alright, so that needs to be its own parameter set. I'm just going to write some notes here. Needs to be set. Trusted service certificate, connection timeout, trusted connection. Okay, so there's a connection timeout. So we might as well specify that. That's an integer, that's fine. We can just say that and then just do an integer. I've actually been meaning to update this for a while, so yeah. I think I'm just going to set it to be a default of 30 seconds. Connection timeout, 30 seconds, like so. Trusted connection. Okay, now I need to actually invoke read. Trusted connection. Did I did have that. Fantastic. Okay. Now, so we have two different types of sets of parameters. We have is username, password, and trusted, and to encrypt and not to encrypt. So that's fine. I need to clean this up as well. So what I'm doing there is I'm doing invoke read here, I'm loading the executor reader. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to clean that up later. So now we're going to define our parameter sets. Yep. Windows login encrypt. We can actually just build onto that, so we have 4 values rather than 2. We don't actually need to have a no encrypt because we're not actually having anything else apart from that. So it's omitting it or it's excluding it, which is fine. It's not if it's not there's something else that needs to be set. It's just an omission or an exclusion. So sorry, it's omitting it from the item. So what's the next items things we need to do here? Okay, so now I've got to set the remainder. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, copy all that, paste that, set A1, get rid of this value from pipeline, we don't need that, we're not taking the pipeline input from that. We're going to accept pipeline input for something else, but that's fine. Is this mandatory? Server name, yes. Instance name, is that mandatory? Yes. Oh, actually no, that's not mandatory. We don't need an instance name. You don't need an instance name. Database name. Is that a mandatory one? That sure is. That is a mandatory. Okay, instance name. Then we've got trusted connection is that. I'm just actually going to quickly space this out so it makes it a bit easier to read. Trusted connection. So we get rid of manual login encrypt, manual login, like so. That's position 4, like that. Now let's copy that, make that. This is where it gets a little bit funky. So we got username, password. I could do just credentials, to be honest. We could just pass credentials in. Should just pass credentials in. Not sure. I think I'm just going to leave it as it is for the time being, but maybe I'll in the future I'll pass credentials into that. Alright, so username, password, so just paste that in. Mandatory. Well, if you're going to specify it as mandatory, we need a username and password. So I'm thinking it will be a that one. Whoops. That one and that one. So that's going to be option 4. The question is, should we just pass a secure string into it? Because realistically, I could just take credentials. Just get a PS credential. What's it? Get a credential? Yeah, it's a PS credential. We're going to do this. We're actually going to do it properly. We're going to use PS credential. So what we're going to do there, going to pass it in like that. We're going to tweak it in under the hood here. Credential. So manual login. We can get rid of that because we can actually just extrapolate that information out. We just take a secure string, which works perfectly fine. What I'm going to do here, I'm actually going to use a key vault. So in the parent, I'm going to basically build a PS credential, and the secure string will be a key vault secure string, and that'll just pass through and then extract the password. Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be the better way to do it. All right. So once we've done that, I don't need database name. Trust service certificate, encrypt, multiple active result sets. I don't think I set that. No, I didn't. I'm just going to undo that. Just say persist security info. Did I have that either? No, I didn't. I'll put them 2 down. Oh, and that didn't work. Just get rid of those spaces, but I could just put a multi-space. Just a spaced out variable, but we won't. And then we go back to what I'm actually going to do is put this down the bottom in the super optional section. And then in here we have, okay, this is where it's going to get super crazy. So we have credentials. We'll trust the connection, either one. Windows login, encrypt, manual login, manual login, encrypt. So now we need to have, I'm just going to paste this in and work this out. We're going to need to have Windows and that. And that. It's either one of those, database instance, yep, that's fine. Don't need any of that, so that is going to be 5 if specified, or if excluded. This is like seriously mind-bending me now. Rewriting the parameter sets and building out the connection string. I should just build a class and then just pass out through, but I'm too lazy at the moment. Alright, so we've got that. Oops. So now we need to pass that. It's going to be all these. And it's going to depend now. So, for example, if it's specified with 4, 5, I'm just going to say 6, 4. That's going to be 6. That'll be 7. That will be 5. Security info. That's going to be 8. That's going to be 6. Connection timeout. Don't need that. This is off the chain in terms of parameter set. I think that's it. Well, that's significantly grown. So the next question is, now we need to actually I need to basically work out the best way to build a connection string. So this is an old way of doing it. I just kind of slapped it together. I'm pretty sure. I wonder if there's an MSDN. I'm just gonna have a quick look. I'm just wondering if there's an MSDN. So if I have a quick look at some data, I'm just gonna clean this up a bit. Have a look at this. My idea is basically see if I can build it with a parameter set. Yep, query string, connection string. So we're just using this command or this connection. Create command. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So that's in your SQL mod. Yeah. Now, can we use the parameters? Because if I can find a builder, I'm just going to use the builder itself, and that will make it a bit easier. I'm just going to go string builder. Oh, look at that. Provides a simple way to create and manage the contents of connection strings by use by the connection SQL connections class. Builder connection string. Existing connection string where you may retrieve and modify any of the elements. So what are my properties? Now is this .NET Core though? Looks like it is. Good. So we need a connection. So I can create a new builder and then just build it out. I think that's going to be the better way to do it rather than actually concatenating. I'm just going to build it using that that class. So let's just build it out and see what we get. And yeah, okay. So I'm just going to scratch pad this. See if this works. Helps if I actually. Probably because I actually need to specify. First thing as well. Saves me having to clean that up. Replace. Can using go inside a function? Oh, really? Okay, that sucks. Actually, no, I don't understand why, but I just don't want it in there. Like a function needs to be self-contained. You can't be having using statements at the top of the script. You're assuming that you're going to have that there all the time. Which you probably would, so yeah, okay. I'm just gonna, I'll leave it there anyway. It can't hurt. What is it? System.data SQL client. It's a string builder and a string converter apparently. Aha! Right, so initial with a few names, or just emptied it. Create a connection string with the server. Builder.connection string. Alright. Alright, let's try this. Well, it should have a password. .username equals test. Keywords not supported. Oh, okay. So it doesn't support the ability to actually... Is there a method for it? Oh, there is. String password. String user ID. So how do you convert it? Console write line. Okay, just use document. Ha, perfect. Okay. I think I know what I need to do here. So let's create a builder. So what we can do is we can basically just say command text. Obviously that's the first one. Actually no, it's not, it's command text. So we got server name. I'm just going to create this so I can actually get the IntelliSense. What do we have? Okay. I should add some script validation onto this. I'm going to do that. I really should. Not there. Instance name, database name. These basically just need to be not null empty. It's a switch, that doesn't really matter. Trusted service certificate for result sets. Doesn't matter. Okay, perfect. So what we can do now is if we say instance name, instance name is either like, we actually don't need to do it as null or empty because we're validating the parameter, so we can actually exclude, that's fine. Use instance, what's the dependent, what's the object? Seeing what all the properties are so I can actually work that out. What are we looking for? We're looking for instance. Instance, yeah, actually data source. Gets an instance of the SQL server to connect to. Packet size. User instance. What do I have in my connection string? What's it called there? What do I have? Oh, interesting. So I've done it that way. Okay, that's fine. How is it? Gets or sets there whether redirect the connection from a default server. So runtime initiate instance. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to use the user instance. We can test all this anyway, so that's fine. So user instance equals instance name. Then we have, what's the next one? Database name, that is 100% mandatory. 100% mandatory. Gets a set. What's it going to set it to? Database name. Oh, I'm going to try data source. Keyword not supported. Don't like builder object. I'm just going to call it SQL builder object. SQL builder. So I'm just going to call it something like that. It just makes it a bit more easy to read. Server. Just be a bit more descriptive. Okay. What do we got up here? Let's see a database. got the server, we've got the instance. Actually, I'm just gonna test this. So we've got dot server test dot user instance equals instance keyword not supported user instance. That's a boolean, not a string. I think it's going to be attached to the database. That's fine. We can just do this. And then we just do this. Now we need to set the database name. Let's have a quick look at some other examples. Connection string based on internally key value pairs. Okay. Use initial catalog. Apparently initial catalog is the actual okay, so if we go to use a catalog, let's just try this. Well, that's changed. Keyword not supported. System.type string. Okay. Well, that doesn't work. Why is it not working? Is it a core thing? I've changed it. there's the connection string, that's the password. Yep. Okay, so I'll try something. Honestly, I don't think that's going to work. Keyword not supported. Oh, whoops. Oh, whoops. There. Yeah, keyword not supported. International catalog. Yeah, it's there. So why is it not? Like, it's a gettable and settable. It's just a property. Why can't I set that property? That's so weird. Check this out. Keyword not supported. Initial catalog. I wonder if it's same with PowerShell 5. Interesting. I wonder if I have to set all the other items prior to it. Like, I've set my data source, have I? Alright, try this. Let's try something. Do I have a data source? Yes. Keyword not supported. Initial catalog. Why is that? I'm just going to quickly Google it. Try to specify the provider name as the second parameter. Interesting. That was to do with actually another SQL bug, but it's not to do with that. Okay. Stack Overflow. You have a new line between initial and catalog. Replace it with a space or consider using it. Yeah. Is there a method? Troubleshooting an issue that is really strange. Keyword not supported. Why is that not playing ball? Okay. The value of initial catalog property or string that empty is non-string supplied. I think I'm going to have to build some of the string out maybe. This is weird, super weird. Yeah, it must be. It can't set it. So, what happens if I actually create a basic database? Let's call it. We'd have to basically build something out here. So I'm just thinking like, intrigued now. I'm intrigued. Interesting. Oh, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. I have to actually set it. Like this. Ah, catalog. Wow. Wow. That is so weird. So you can't set, so unless wow. This is the crazy thing. It's a property that has no space in it, but to set it, you need to put a space in it. So if I set test2, and then we just put connection string in here, look at that. That is absolute. Oh, that does not make me happy at all. We can actually reproduce that by doing this, and that should work. Yep. Wow. That's definitely going on the Slack channel. That is something that I've never seen that troubleshooting. And the thing is that like you can call the property. So let's try and call the property. It's readable, but if I try and set it, it's not settable. But if I do a get member, it's get set. So what I think is happening is the set side of that actual component is, for some reason, it's not working. However, if I specify initial space catalog, that works. Oh my goodness. And the thing is that like, so if you look at this example here, everyone's setting the oh, you can see connect timeout. So let's try connect timeout then. Yep, same thing. So you actually physically have to set the key value. But the thing is, this is the thing, is if I come back to my string builder. Yeah, it's just adding. Okay, so when they're building using the key value. They're not using the property. Okay. I'm not going to say that that's any easier, but that's a serious pain in the backside. So, yeah, okay, there's your example right there. So, what I need to do is we're just going to use the key values, like everything else can get stuffed. So, I'm just going to create an empty blank database connection string, and we're just going to set it using key value because it seems what the best way to do it. Initial catalog. We're just going to say database name. Wow, that was new. That was really new. Let's keep cracking on. We're still going. We're going to still smash this out. Integration security. So I'm just going to copy all these down and then basically what I'm going to do is just put all these here, get rid of all these parameter sets, and then I can actually see what parameters we need to action. So next one's trusted. Oh, look at that. Bam, right there. Integrate security. That's the one I actually need as well. It's not trusted, it's integrated security. That actually... encrypt. Windows login, manual login, Windows login, encrypt. So we can put that down here. So what did I say? That's going to be 8, 8, 10, 10, 9, 9. So integrated security. Like so. Oh. Just do that, do that. Just copy that. Windows login encrypt, copy that. Okay, so we've done that. So we can actually define integrated security. We need to get the parameter set name. So if we get the parameter set name, then we can actually validate it. See, if we don't, we're assuming that someone doesn't explicitly set it to be false. So we need to define the parameter set name. encrypt, integrated security. Yeah, I should just set it to be true or false. So now we can go integrated security. So that basically covers the fact that if it's been explicitly set or not. So if someone actually explicitly sets integrated security to be false, it will set it to be false, but it just gets around that. And if it doesn't, it just will omit it completely. Now we need to got the data source, initial catalog. Got that set. Then we're going to set the user credentials. Just copy that. So it's either coding for the encrypt or not to. We're now going to get the user credentials, which I think is just username and password. I'm just going to quickly check. I think it's user ID actually. Yep. Let's call it username. Alright. Is it case sensitive? Standards. Alright, now we're gonna go. So what I'm gonna do now. So we can just set the credential.username. Set password. Set passwords to that. I'm just going to run a quick connect.connection string. Yep, perfect. Okay, now I need to get the password. We need to use the martial law. Where is it? gonna unsecure our string. So it's gonna get cred, gm, secure string to BDSR. So we can just go credential dot password. We'll just use cred in this instance. And then we'll use interrupt marshaller to go put the pointer to a string auto, and that should give us a plain text. Yep, password, perfect. What's a BSTR? BSTR. Allocating and releasing memory. Okay, it copies it into unmanaged memory. So what I'm going to do is do that. Copy and paste that. So now we've got our credentials set. Is it a trusted connection? You can actually just pop that in there now. Let's get trusted connection. This is where we're looking for the encryption. So now we're going to grab this one, copy that, do that, manual login. Just going to space this out, makes it a bit easier to read. Makes it much easier to read. G'day guys, hope you stick around. Just to give you a bit of a background. I'm just doing a bit of code cleanup for my PowerShell 101 with Michael and Christian, and what I've done is I'm updating my invoke SQL query so that it supports Microsoft Azure. Done a ton of cleanup, and I'm just learning a lot of lessons about the SQL string builder class. So I'm just using that to build my SQL query out before actually obviously making the query. Just making it a little bit more fully featured because I am probably going to use it there's a lot more features I need to use in the future, and I've kind of just been hard coding it for the time being, and procrastinating. But now I'm just kind of biting the bullet since I've kind of getting it done now. So yeah, hope you guys stick around. So log on encrypt, same as first one, log on encrypt. We need manual log on encrypt. So done that. So we've got that. Now we can actually set our encrypt. Okay, that works. Alright, done that. Again, we need to explicitly specify it, because unless a person, in this instance it's kind of a bit redundant, but there will be an instance where someone's decided that he wants to make a single, explicitly set it, switch value to be false, and yeah, so I'm just going to include it. Trust server certificate. If it's explicitly set, then I'm going to include it. If it's not, we're just going to omit it. There's no point having it. So I'm pretty sure it's a switch. There's no point. Yeah, there's no point. So what we can do there is we can basically say, let's just say connection string builder. Alright, let's have a look at what the members are. Trust server certificate. It's a boolean. Aha. Standards. This to be honest, I wouldn't say it slightly frustrates me, because what they've done is in this instance here, you've got user space ID. In this instance here, it will be just that. So you kind of either got one or the other. It's just fuffing around dealing with that. So that's fun. So we're just then going to set trust server certificate. That'll actually, if it's explicitly. To be honest though, that's actually assuming that it's true, which is fine though. Or no, it's not, because I'm going to actually have to include it. The reason why is because if it's omitted, it will only set it to be true, and if it's not, and it really depends on how SQL inherits that key, whether it assumes it's true or whether it assumes it's false. I'm just going to keep it there just for the sake of keeping it there. Trust this set. So we've done that one. Now we've got multiple active results. Do we even need that? I'm just looking at what I've got in my connection string up top here, wherever I put it. I'm just going to go to Azure for a sec. Yep, that's my key vault. I'm going to set that up. Persist security. Just copy all that. Let's see what we've got in there. And I'll just mark off everything that I have and everything that we need to add. Connection timeout, we've got that. Yeah, it's got trust service certificate, it's got that. Multiple active sets are false, got that. Got that, got that. Persist security info. The hell's persist security info? Yeah, we got persist security info, and did I have the other one? Multiple active record set. Yes. Sets, yep, that's set. I actually think today's just going to be an SQL thing. I'm going to try and keep cracking on maybe. See how long I can go, but I think it's just going to be SQL today. I really don't want it to be because I just want this to be done, but I do think I might just take some time back and get it right. Okay, so string multiple active result sets. Is that a string? No, that's a switch. Multiple active result sets a switch. Encrypt. I think I'm definitely going to break this. Don't need that. Don't need that. Persist security info. That's a switch. Trusted connection. That's a switch. Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to make sure this is legit. I'm gonna recopy all these again, and the reason why is because I just want to quickly double check my work. I'll get rid of all these extra parameters. Don't want any of that. Don't want any of that. So everything else I'm pretty sure can just be set as switching, which is fine because it'll either set true or false. It won't be null, it'll just be true false. Yep, done. Okay, so integrated security. Yep, that's fine. Credentials. That's fine. Encrypt. Yep, that's fine. Trust service certificate. Alright. Let's just set the rest of these bad boys. 1, 2. Connection string timeout. So it's got a default value. Trusted connection. So what I'm going to do here is just do this. And now we need to manually set each of these to make sure that I'm not doing it wrong. So multiple active. Let's see if it's spaced out or if it's not. It's not. Copy and paste that. Persist security info. It's not. Timeout. That's a oh no, it's an integer. Let's just do 30 and put a space there. Connection timeout's a spaced one. The trusted connection is this, a spaced one. I don't believe so. I think it's a oh no, what is that? Let's have a quick look. Do we need it? I don't think we need it. Before we do, I'm just going to have a quick look. We've got, do we have trust service certificate? Yep. Try get value trust. Oh, doesn't exist. Alright. Get rid of that one. Get rid of trust connection. Do that. Do that. Bin that. Claim some space back. Perfect. Alright, so we've done all that. Alrighty, create a data table that will be used in the response. Okay. So what we're going to do here is build our connection string by doing this. Connection string. So I'm going to change. I'm just cleaning up my code. And specifying type. Get rid of a new object. Making it look pretty. Poetic. That's it. That should be what we need to fix everything. Alright, we need to test it. So I am going to load up thing. We can actually pass a credential parameter which will work. So all I need to do is test. We're going to test connected with Azure. Make sure it works. I'm going to need test connection to a standard database, but I don't have one at the moment, so I need to test that. Just going to put an updated. so fix that. I'm going to need to fix all this up as well. There's so many more parameters now. So many more parameters. That needs to be specified, so that's going to make it a bit more difficult. That will change the fundamental for everybody in terms of if they're using that function, which means a lot of work. So, what do we need to do here? Alright, so we're just going to quickly test this, get this out of the way. I need it to be talking to Azure anyway, so what we're going to do, I'm just going to grab this function, just massive function, stick it in here, just going to save that so we can start debugging. I'm going to put a bad value in there, just check the full string. We'll basically then I'll then put a proper value in, and we can look at that. And then we go from there. So what I'm going to do is pug demos, PowerShell bot project, functions, bot projects. Where's this? PowerShell functions, bot projects. PowerShell demos, PowerShell bot project, PowerShell script. Oh, okay, whoops. I'm looking at the wrong one. So I'm looking at Git. Functions. And then we'll put it in here. Like so. Run it. It compiles. That's a good start. All my parameters there. We're just going to do select star from master from. We're actually going to put all the correct stuff in initially. I'm just going to jump back onto Azure and we'll grab that content. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put it in down here, and we can basically splat it in. So there'll be nothing in remote code execution, that's fine. I should actually include a port. Yeah, I'm going to include a port. Because, how's the server built? Nothing, I'm not going to do that, it's too much effort. I really should, but you can just chuck it in there for the time being. Then we need initial database name is my bot database. Credential. I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3 password, that kind of thing. Initial catalog. Oh no, we've done that. Persist security info is false. That's fine. We need a user ID. We've done that. Multiple active results sets is false. Encrypt is true. I'll need to specify an encrypt. Trust connection timeout. I think that's all we need actually. Let's do our param set. It's going to go test. Oh, that's just going to break catastrophically. Just realized something I need to clean up. We're assuming that there's actually a credential.password. And I need to actually put a breakpoint on that to test that. No, we don't need that. Oh. So invoke read as a system.string. Huh? Oh, okay. We're gonna might as well put an invoke read on that. That's fine. Params. Okay, so first thing is what's going to be in here. I don't think anything's going to be in there. What we can do is we can basically roll it down to about here. Have a look at what we're breaking. Okay, cannot call. Oh, really? I thought you can. I thought. Really? I thought you could specify. Oh, there was a way that you have to do it. I thought it natively inherits true or false. Okay. Switch parameter. Switch parameter. Switch parameter. Oh, that's fine. What we can do is let's have a quick squiz at the connection string anyway. Let's see what we have. It's fairly standard. ID, passwords, blank. That's the database. That's fine. Data source. That. Initial catalog. That. Okay. So we need to clean these up. So what we're going to do is Shift F5. Run this again. Drop that there, drop that there, do that. Is present false. No. Did I specify false for some of them? Alright, let's do this. Let's do invoke read and let's say whether it's false. Because that will give me my answer. So if I go invoke read false, rerun that. That's fine. Perfect. Okay, so what we can do is just do this. I think that is that. We can just say is present. SQL's trusted connection. That fixes it. So now, if we rerun this, it'll prompt 1, 2, 3. If we invoke, we should have our connection string. Pay dirt. Pay dirt. Now, most important thing for fail out. Should fail out well. Yep, problem opening SQL connection. Fantastic. Now, we need to actually test if we have a legitimate value when I put a legitimate password in. So, what I will do here, since we're using get credentials, I'll just paste the password in and we'll see how we go. So, what we're going to do is throw an open there and test it. So, we're going to run it again. We're actually going to put a legitimate username and password in. Control B, Control C. So that's in. Now we're going to invoke it. And we're going to see if that works. I doubt it. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Working. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Has the parameter been specified? That should just run. Yep. Perfect. So no errors. So that's good. That's really good. We've got our query string built. We've got all that done now. So I'm going to keep smashing on with this. I'm not too happy with. I am going to add a port. I've been humming and hawing about it. I'm going to definitely add a port because I do think we need a port. It's not mandatory, but it's still required. So we know that's working, so I'm just going to null it out. Okay, so we've got that done, server port, position 2, and then we just basically add 1 to each of these values down here. I don't think this is fully working, but I'm just going to take it as it is. And you got 10 parameters, that's a lot. 9 and 11. 11 parameters. Okay, perfect. That is absolutely fantastic. So we have our connection. All right, so next part of our code test is we're going to try and do I'm going to put this back into our function. I now know what we need to put in for, this is our example. What I'm going to do is basically using new PS Credential and then using the Azure Key Vault, we're going to extract the password. So password just flows straight into that. So what we're going to do here is once I'm just going to, I don't know why it's doing that, but it is. Oh, like I said, anyway, this is really annoying. So that's saved. We can close that. Come back into here. We've got our functions directory here. So we've cleaned this up. It really does need more code, but that's it's right, it's worth doing right, but not today. I'll do it later. I have to add a note to clean this up. So what we can do is grab all that and stick it in each of our functions, like so. That significantly got bigger. Do this one. They're the same one. Oh, they are too. Lol. So do. How can they? What's going on here? Betcha. Oh no, I know what I've done. Alright, so copy that, close that, close that. We'll do one at a time so I'm not getting confused. Grab that. That's the tested code. Close that, come into that, grab that, scroll down. That's the tested code. Sweet. So, next step. We are going, so in here, get AZ. Perfect. Okay, we're still online. Good, 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 good. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I need to get the AZ secret AZ key vault secret. Okay, we need to get the vault name. So secret vault name is BruisePug. So we have multiple secrets. Alright, how do we grab that now? Just FYI, I'm going to change the password when we're done for today, but yeah. So if I accidentally reveal it, it's all good. So what I'm going to do now is I need to get the secret out. So get vault secret vault name, resource group name, vault name, key 3. That brings it in a secure string. Vault name. What's the name? Oh, there it is. So just enumerate them all, that's fine. So if I say then the name, like so. Yep, and then that'll have secret.val, which should be as a secure string. So what we are going to do... Oh boy, I need to clean my code up. I really need to clean my code up. So yeah, look at that, just code lying around. That's fine. So what I'm going to do, quickly clean that up. I'm going to use key So we're going to basically get that key secret. That's a function, HTTP trigger, function, HTTP start job. Start job. So what I'm going to do here, get the parameter set name. So in the SQL parameters here, I'm going to clean this up. So what I'm going to do here is create a credential, and then I'm going to stick old mate in that, and that will sort that out. But before we do that, I need to go back down to my example here because we know this works. So what we're going to do is just paste that like that. Copy that out. Like that. Did I add a port? I think I did, but I didn't actually do anything with it. I did add a server port, I just didn't do anything with it. Derp. So what I can do here is if server port's omitted, I will just in here second and there's null empty. Yep, perfect. I can just do this. Just comma. So it's the server with the port. So if the server port's included, if the instance names will add as an appendix, if it's a server port or suffix. I think that's about it. Oh, camera's going a lot out of focus. I think it's due to the light. So what I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to quickly go turn the light on. Here we go. Grab some light, and that might make the camera focus a little bit easier. Perfect. Okay. Alright, perfect. Okay, so what I'm thinking is server, so let's pen that to the end. That's actually going to, if you put the instance name, it'll be instance name, then server name. Does instance name come before server name? Yes, it does. This is why you check your code. Instance name, server name, server name, server port. Perfect. Yep, done, done, done. Okay, now I can grab old mate, put that in. I'm just taking a leap of faith and untested code. That's fine. That's fine. Alright, so We're just working in this one at the moment. So what we're doing here is plugging it in. So key vault, BrizPug, PUBG, bot, pug, bot demo. We know this is our good configuration, so I'm just going to pretty much copy and paste that in, with the exception of the port, because we can actually don't need that. I can just say like so. Remote read. Do we need to invoke a read on this? No, we don't. We just need to do a thing, so we can just omit it completely. I think that's it. So, yep, that's it. So what we need to do now is we actually need to create a credential. So I need to create PS. New. I need to have a look at the constructor. String, secure string. System string, username, secure string, password. Perfect. So it's already coming as a secure string. So the only thing I need to do is basically give me hard code the username, which we can just do. That's fine. Which should be that. Password's going to be SQL password dot secret value. Is it secret value? What's the guy had there? He had the property. We can actually just see what the demo. Secret value. Yeah, it's a secure string. Perfect. So we got that. So user, password, that. It's running an insert into. I'm going to put this right up the top because it's a parameter or some sort. I'm going to put that there. Put the password. Secure pass. And that will basically pass through as a secure string into my function, which builds according to that, extracts the password using the marshalling, puts it in a connection string, runs the SQL query, and we should be done. Hypothetically. Man, this camera is really bad. It's just flicking around left, right, and center. It's constantly trying to focus, and its exposures just getting thrown around left, right, and center. So, it's a little annoying. Anywho, so yeah, turn my head. Nope. Does that overexpose it? Maybe it's the lights in the background. No, it's not doing anything. Weird. Anyway, so what we can do now? Yeah, there you go. It's just overexposed again. I have no idea why it's doing that. I might actually just manual set it one time. So what we can do now, we can actually test it. So we need to test our code. This is the thing. So we've got that. That should work. I highly don't. I think it's probably going to fail somewhere, but we're just going to see what happens. So we're going to start our function. So what we need to do is /demos project functions. start our functions. Okay, so I'm working with a HTTP start job. Ouch. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do here. Oh, I'm going to switch back to the screen. There we go. What I'm going to do here. HTTP start job. Okay, so I've got a custom script which I wrote. So we're going to open this up in the IC. Called start PS remote job. Yep. Let's go grab that. Now what that does is that just sends a nice, it's just a nice wrapper to send to this API. So get yes PowerShell script start. Yep. Okay. So what we can do, just run this. We're not going to have anything there. We're just going to do a write host. URI, we're going to target that. And we're going to see what happens. It's taking its sweet time. It's thrown a runtime error. I think. Oh! Did that work? A null key is not allowed in hash literal. Okay. Add key value pair. Well, okay. Easiest way to find out whether it's running is to do a select star. I don't think it's worked because it's trying to log into Azure, and I don't think it has the ability to do so. So I think that's the reason why it's not working. But we'll find out. Yeah, it's not worked. So what I think is failing is this. A null key is not allowed in a hash literal. So yeah, I think that's what's happening. Okay. It's running in core. I'm going. Does require statements work in functions? No, they won't, because it's not dependent. It's not a. Well, hypothetically it is, but it really depends on how the function actually processes. So that's an actually interesting question. Would a require statement work within a PowerShell 2.0 preview function? And I'm thinking it might not, but it's worth checking out anyway later. I just want to see some. I just want to see some success. That's what I want to see. I want to see some success here. I want to be happy for once. I want to see my SQL statement execute, and then I'm happy for today. And then I can actually fix the other side, and that means then I've got all my objectives done for today. So, what we need to do. Re-execute it. Restart it. The thing is though, that's assuming that like I'm passing everything incorrectly. It did return a status response, so that is something, right? I think the thing is though, if the SQL statement failed, well, one, we didn't see a result, but the SQL statement should have failed because it should have done a try catch. No, it wouldn't have, because I didn't actually comment at my line, so it never actually would have done anything. derp. Let's wait for this to finish and then I'll restart it. Which means, yeah, so that's the reason why it won't work. I'm just going to quickly shut this down. And I'm going to... I bet you it's this, but we'll just see. I'm hoping that... yeah, I'm hoping that I can fetch it within a function, or whether there's a way. I'm gonna have to do a bit of research, or whether there's a way within a key vault I can just do some sort of REST call or something and go fetch it that way. But yeah, I'm just gonna have to troubleshoot that part when I get to it. All right, this should fail spectacularly. Yep, tunnel server error. Let's just dump out the error. Status 500, duration. Yep. That actually should give me a message. Well, it should give me a message. I don't want a 500. Did I actually write something there? Status. The body should have had something. There's a problem submitting the request. Okay, that's something I need to troubleshoot as well. Okay, so this is clearly not working. I can't get that specific secret. Okay, so I need to be able to go fetch a secret. What I might do, I need to test this code's actually working correctly before I can do that, and I might troubleshoot that outside it. So what I might do, what user context is that going to run under? Just thinking whether I can actually do it, bypass that for the time being, so I can actually test my code. So secret password. So that's completely fine. I'm gonna quickly do a bit of research off over here. Let's have a quick look. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for an ability for us to be able to key vault Azure key. Because this kind of, yes, I just want to see someone. Also going to just have a quick look at that. Is there a way I can? Okay, so that's just marketing stuff. Yep. Install module. This is the old school way of doing it. That's fine. You have an option of create an account assigned as Azure. So I actually have to build an Azure session. That's not going to work. That's counting on the fact that basically I can actually get the value out. So which I don't think I am, because failure, no parameter defined script or function for import binding request. That's actually failing on the fact that that value is null. Right here. Because that's null, and this is a required value. Actually, I'm going to try something. Let's clear access. Yeah, that's why. That's why. It can't take an empty string. But that's totally fine. So what I can do there is we can actually just do a try catch up here on our, there's got to be a way to do it via REST. Like I shouldn't have to, like, I'm just gonna see how they do it in Azure function. Azure for get password, service account, Azure function. Okay. You need to compose a secret URI. That's what I thought you could do. And you need to approve it. Alright, I'm going to have a quick look to see if we can generate a secret URI, because that's really now the next thing. Can we generate a secret URI? So, I'll do that off camera. Let's see if that works. Keys, secrets. How do we generate a secret URI? Ah, there it is there. Look at that. So, I'm just going to quickly have a sneaky squirrel. And the other screen to make sure that what I'm doing is legit. That's what I thought. I thought I just can get a URI and that would just return the secret key. Method. Which, to be honest, I don't think that. Okay, I need to craft a. It's okay. I'm getting a 401, which is fine. So I actually need to build value. So key vault. So how is he building it? Secret request, trigger function, request does not contain a valid secret, yeah. Key vault client, authentication callback, secret request, that. New secret response. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. So public string secret value. Is there a value associated with it? Is there? Hang on. I'm literally learning about Key Vault today, so yeah, where's my Azure tenant? There it is. So what do we got here? Secret content type says. Yep, okay. Secret identifier. I think we're just going to have a look at. Okay, yep. EC algorithms, yep. Public parts of a given key in a key vault. Okay. I think what I'm going to do there is we might just bypass that for the time being. I think I'm going to, like, I think, honestly, I'm just going to be wasting a bit too much time here. Yep. This is pretty much all standard. Resource group, secret, yep. The secret key and value, yep. Secrets created, the key vault, yep. Now click on the secret created and copy the secret identifier as shown below for accessing the secret from the code. Yep. Retrieve the secret value in the web application. Okay, so you need a URI. So I actually need Microsoft Azure.Key Vault. You're kidding. Alright, I'm going to leave that there for today. We're going to keep cracking on around that because at the end of the day though, I think that's just going to be that. So what I'm going to do here, we'll just comment that out. And I'm just going to hard code the password up here out of with focus. Like so for the time being. So we can actually just test this code because ultimately I'm just kind of fuffing around at the moment and I particularly don't want to do that. Just going to do that. And like so. Put that down. Do that. Keep tabbing. That's fine. And we can go down here. Alrighty. So I've just hard coded it for the time being. Up to the top there, just so we can actually do something. Yeah, I think that's our best bet. So, alrighty. So what we can do is jump back to our first instance. No, is it this instance? I'm just gonna terminate our job. Function host start. Got our items. I'm just gonna restart ISC. And we're going to call that. So start PS remote job, start this bad boy. So what we're going to do, start PS remote job. As you probably notice, start PS remote job is a process where you can execute PowerShell remotely over the internet and basically get the response back. So it's just a little project myself and my mate are working on. Hello world. URI, grab that URI. So we're basically going to start the job. And that should be it. Oh, still getting an error. Why are we getting an error? That should be working. It is not calling properly. Why is that the case? got all the bits and pieces. Now it's definitely to do with invoke SQL query here. The parameters are set. Oh. I wonder if that was my issue to begin with, which I don't think it. Oh my gosh, I think it is my issue. I think it is my issue. I'm going to uncomment this out, and if that is my issue, I'm just not going to be happy. But then I'm going to be happy because I fixed it. So, thanks, mate. I looked at it and I realized, oh no, it's SQL params. So anyway, let's give this another go. I'm hoping that, yeah, okay, that still didn't work. That's fine. I think the reason why is because SQL password is null. So if I re-attempt now, well, that did that. Let's run a quick select, see if anything's popped in there. Nothing's popped in there. It could even be that like I've gotten the query wrong as well. So what I'm going to do is I still can't hook the debugger into this. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually dump out the SQL command text here. I'm also going to out the command string as well, just to see what's going on. My voice IntelliSense not working. That's why. Let's make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah. Let's see temp. Where is that other one? There's the connection string. I'm just going to dump out the connection string as well because I need to see that. Okay, let's start it again. I'm going to have a quick squiz at that once that loads. So that's failed, that's fine, that should have produced that. Slash temp. Okay. Just going to open that up. Let's open it up here. It's actually not even invoking that SQL. That's super weird. So it's not even invoking this query. That's super weird. I'm just looking at my command text. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. That's fine. I wonder. This is where it'd be really good if I can actually. I'm gonna try and hook into it. I'm gonna try and hook into it and see if we can debug this. Alrighty. So I've kicked off the job. It's now on that. I should be able to hook into it. Listed of debug session. Okay, so If I jump into debug land, attach. Is this going to let me debug? I don't think it is. Am I hooked? I don't have literally any control at the moment. I've got to fix this. This is going to drive me nuts. I need to be able to hook in and debug. See, like, if I drop a breakpoint, it's going to terminate that job. Ah, now I can hook onto it. So what's this integrated? Do you have a dollar between server port? Oh shit. Oh my god. Thanks for the spot, mate. Thanks for the spot. I think it's time to go home. I think it's time to go home. Oh my god. Oh my god. If this is it, I'm done. It's like the biggest mistake, like the biggest man look I've ever done in my life. And that's like saying something. I've had my wife point out something that was right in front of me in the pantry, and she's like, "It's right there," and I was looking around. But yeah, thanks, Shannon. Oh mate. Oh, sorry, it's not Shannon. It's Shane, is it? It must be Shane. Yeah, thanks, Shane, mate. Oh my god, I just feel so like that's like the most obvious spot in the world too. Like, let's see how we go. Oh, it's still a 500, but that's all right though. That's all right. It could be many other issues why. The question is it because? No, it's not. Okay, that's fine. That is fine. So what we're gonna do, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do some crash debugging because I can't even do a write hosts in here, which is really quite irritating. Actually, I'm just gonna do a write warning. We're resorting to debugging, crash debugging, because I really need to pull my finger out and get it working. I think that's going to be the next. Yeah. Oh, I did think I got a warning. No, that's not anything. So there's no write warning. That's fine. So what I'm going to do is Control C, shut it down, and we're just going to crash debug this file. This is what I'm getting to right now. But I think this is going to provide a bit more better context. Interesting. It's not even, it is not creating that file. It also helps if I actually put some text in there. Let's try that again. Interesting. That is really interesting. It's not even creating the file. So what am I doing wrong here? Is that actually, oh, that is restarting it. Sweet, I'm not even going to need to do anything. I'm just going to let it run. So every time I make a change, it actually reloads it. That's really cool. Result failure, no parameter defined in script or function for the input binding request. Okay. Is it just because is it honestly because I've screwed it up here? That's interesting. What do I have here? Request. So we've got request. I'm going to biff that for the time being. So we've got request up there. That's my input. Request body, request dot body convert from JSON. That should be fine. I remember testing all this. That should all be fine. There's a problem submitting the request. Alright, I'm going to do this. I just want to do this again. Comment it out and see what happens. I should reload. Yep, that's reloading. I'm thinking... I still think it's to do with those parameters. Because when I initially launched it, it did. The only thing we've changed was the SQL parameters. I'm going to comment all this out. Okay. Now this is interesting because this worked initially. The only thing that we've changed was the parameters and then basically uncommented the line. And then it's, in essence, it's broken everything else. So what have I done? I've done something else. I have no idea what I've done. Attributes failed. Blah. Executing function, result failure. No parameter defined in script or function for input binding request. But there is! In the body! I'm going to have a quick look at the body here. And then I'm going to dump the body there. And then we're going to have a look. That's my body right there. Perfect. It's encoded it. No issues. Perfect. Computer name. So, if that's the case, what have I done to basically cause it to break? Is it actually... Something's not right. What have I done? Start job. Yep, it's that. What's the... It's requested post. Yep, that's fine. Type in HTTP direction out. That's completely fine. I think it's time to dump this out. I think it's time to dump it out. See what it puts. So this worked initially, so no worries, no worries. Well, it's good to see you. Hope to see you again, Shane. That is not dumping. What have I done? I bet you the parameter block has to be before my dodgy password that I put up in here, and that's been the cause of all our issues, because the parameter block needs to be specified before anything else. I'm gonna say that, and let's just see what happens. So rerun that. That's why. So now we know why. I can actually troubleshoot further. And that's just a, yeah. That is really my fault. At the end of the day, though, that's my fault. So that's fine, though. So that's fine. So I'm still gonna have the SQL password. I'm gonna debug with the SQL password hard coded. Then we're gonna basically unhard code it and see if that works. So okay, that's still okay. Perfect. Now I'm getting my responses. There's a problem submitting the request. Good. All right. Can't because the value for argument is null. Sweet. Okay, sweet. Cannot change value of password to a non-null value. Okay. Where are you at that? Because that should be fine. The reason why is because it's just a variable and that property doesn't exist. So what I'm going to do is do this. Fix that, put that there, re-execute this, and we should have some action. We should be good to go. So let's rerun this bad boy. And we've got something else that's better. We're making progress. Cannot find overload for new. Argument count 2. Error of cannot find overload for new. Argument count is 2. Wish overload for new. System management automation. Okay, so we've got 2 overload. So that's, again, that's a better one, but what we can do here, we are getting a here.txt file, fantastic. Now I need to find that file here. .txt. Perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to grab that, chuck that down in here, get rid of that, do that, re-execute, save, relaunch, and see how we go. Okay, that didn't work. We got it here. What's the notepad says? Yep, that's fine. Alrighty, what we're going to do now is I'm going to dump this bad boy out, have a look at the parameter set, convert JSON. Now that'll be fine. Save that, relaunch that. Nothing. Interesting, interesting, interesting. That is interesting. I'm just going to have a quick look at the command text. Okay, so I've done that. Let's relaunch it. Problem submitting it. No command text at all. None. So that is completely empty. Oh, the reason why it's completely empty is because it doesn't even exist. that won't. So yep, completely empty. So that means that this is not being set correctly, which leads me to believe that, oh mate, I'm just going to quickly have a make sure that that's legit. That's fine. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. We are just going to put any old thing in there and see what's going on there. So I think it's not correctly building this up. So like so. Fire this back up. That's fine. We are going to get a 0, and I should see a connection string, and I don't. Why not? I'm going to do this and see what it does. I'm literally trying to work out why that's happening. So I think it's to do with this, because I've tested it beforehand. So I've actually tested that function. We're not going to know until, yeah, okay. So this is my command text. So that looks completely normal. I need to clean that up. That's not right. So I need to fix that. So that's one thing we need to do. I need to do that. So because I'm inserting a string inside of that, I think that might fix it. But that doesn't explain why the rest of it's not actually passing through. It's in scope. That's fine. We can troubleshoot further. Is it not the same for computer target name? Yeah, you're right. It's going to be the same for all of them, to be honest. Realistically, it's going to be the same for all of them. Because they're all strings. Like that. That would fail to create. Oh, would that? No, I don't think it would. I think it would. Yeah, I don't know. We will see. We will see. The main thing I want to see is the actual this being able to dump that object out. Let's reload that. See what happens. That's interesting because it's not coming up. So, what am I doing wrong here? The only thing I can think of is this is not setting for some reason. It's not setting. That's why. That's why we're not getting it properly running. Okay, so why is PS Credential not running? Because I know that PS Credential works. Well, it was working. Hang on, let me have a look at this bad boy. I have to think. I thought I fixed it. Oh my god, I know why. The reason why is because this is not a secure string. It's expecting a string and a secure string. But because we can't actually fetch the Azure AD or the key vault secure string, we're just passing a static string. And because it's a static string and not a secure string, it's the wrong type. That's why. Alright, well that's good to know. So what we can do there is I'll just squiz right up to the top and I'll convert to a secure string. So convert to secures. Actually, just gotta quickly stop this. Stop the batch job. Put that in there. Secure Secret Uri string as plain text. Force that. Just quickly test it on a random username and password. That doesn't correspond to anything. Let's do it in here. So I'm just doing a standard PS Core window. Yep, that works. Perfect. It's time to finally actually move forward. See, this is the problem with a debugger. You'd be able to spot this in like 2 seconds flat. It's just that without the debugger, and this is why I've got to pull my finger out and get the debugger working, is that without the debugger, I can't actually hook in. And with the debugger, I could literally spot all these issues because you just drop a breakpoint, you would see the exception occur, and then you would troubleshoot why the exception has occurred. So, yeah, that's the reason why. It's just that, like, it's actually quite annoying because it's just hindering it's hindering to be able to troubleshoot this quickly. Like, I would have had this troubleshooted so much quicker if I didn't actually have to deal with without a debugger. It's just, yeah, it's just really slow. Okay, that's fine. That's completely fine. I need to see what the output is though. Perfect. So there we go. Password's length is 20. That's fine. It's passing it through. Blah 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 blah. Okay, we're now cooking with gas. We've actually made one step further forward. So it's now invoking the request. We can quickly check that by stepping into it. It's going to do that here. Let's just rerun it, see if it's invoked. Hasn't invoked. That's actually really, really annoying. And it's probably due to the fact that I've added untested code. This is why you test your code before you deploy. I was thinking, yeah, I can just add server port, that's fine. No, it's not. It is not fine at all. This is what I'm going to do. I need to test this code. Object.txt, yeah, it's not even within here. So we know that it's not in here. Easiest way to test this code quickly is to grab it and shove it inside an IC window. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a logon, quick logon that we can use to quickly test this code. Now, what I'm going to do, invoke SQL query, just quickly make sure there's nothing dodgy there. Yep, oh, we can just get credential, we're fine. Chuck that in. I'm going to use server port here. To be honest, that should be a type integer, but I'm not really caring at the moment. Yep. Alright, so what I can do here is do that. So now I've stored it, and now I can invoke it. Invoke. And then we just splat it in. That's the problem I'm worried about. The fact that I could do that. Which means if it didn't throw an error, that basically means that we know that it's working. The only difference is I need to go and have a look at make sure the settings that we're using is replicated. But from what I see, I think the only one we need to set is get credential. So I will have a quick, I just want to do a quick edit of 200. That's going to be that. Oh, that could be null. Perfect. Okay, so that's set. So now I'm going to enable and invoke read. Rerun that. Yep. Save that. Do that. Invoke it. That works. So that means I'm not doing this correctly. So let's have a look at my code. And I literally copy and pasted the code. So the only thing that is different, so we got command text server name, server port, database name. Encrypt is true. Don't need to worry about invoke read. That only invokes the reader if it needs to, if you actually want to perform a read. We're doing an insert into. It isn't even triggering, which means it's getting caught up on the parameter. The only thing it could be is the credential. That's the only thing. So what I'm going to do, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to copy this line. I'm going to shove that in the ISC, and I'm going to see if it executes. Because I think that's where the issue is. And that's going to drive me bonkers. This is why you hard code all your passwords. No, it's not. It's never hard code a password. I had one of my colleagues, he's like, and this is why we don't use Git, because it's just so complicated. I'm like, oh man. And this is why we don't document. I'm like, no, this is why we document. It's all about learning curve. It's all about learning. If you're not learning, then you're basically stagnating. And if you're stagnating, you're not doing anything. You're not doing yourself a favor. I'm going to grab that. And with that, we are going to check it out by chucking that in there, that. Really? I'm just gonna run that and see what happens. You're kidding! That works. Alright, next thing. Let's check the command text. I'm gonna actually, what easiest way to do that? Run it in the thingy. So, so what we're gonna do, relaunch that. I'm gonna open up another IC. Do this. That's fine. We're just gonna, I think it might be now down to our query. So this is what I'm inserting. Next step, copy, new query window, paste. Does this work? It does. Can we query it? Yep. We can query it. Okay. So that leads me to believe it's nothing to do with that. The only thing I can think of is it's not executing. So I'm just going to do this. And it will return a success. I bet you it will. It could be that it just can't launch functions. So that's the next thing we need to check is can it actually launch functions. So if we do that. Yep, that worked perfectly. So I'm not going to save that, but what I'm going to do. So we know this is like I've checked that, that works, that all works, that basically like everything works. So the final thing is why invoke SQL query is not working, which leads me to believe, is it loading functions? Wait. So that's my next query. Is it actually loading functions? We've got that. That's off the side. I literally just copy and pasted the variable in, so it's not that. But it's something to do with this. Did I use server port? Yes, I did. I used server port. So what's the error it's giving back? Let's just trigger it again. We're just going to have to troubleshoot the error itself. The error is cannot process command or one of them is. That's an epic fail. That is one of the biggest epic fails in the world. And this is why didn't you have to specify 143 default SQL? With Azure SQL, you have to. Well, I've always found it's a bit of a hit and miss. So just for SQL, I've had to specify it for Azure SQL databases. But the reason why it's not executing is because I've set the if you can have a look up right here. This is why we test code. is because the parameter set to mandatory is true. It's not mandatory. So it's enforcing the invoke read. This is like so frustrating. And the thing is that, to be honest, this is actually my fault. I actually should have looked at this, and I didn't. I should have, if I saw that, I would have picked that up, but I was like, no, it's not working, and just trying to troubleshoot it. All right, lesson learned. Lesson learned. Read the error. Read the error. All right, so, whew, all right. That was a massive fail. That was probably the most epic fail ever. I'm going to fix that right now. I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to put that in there so I don't forget about it. Get rid of that. And I'm just going to quickly paste that there. There. Like so. Alright, that should fix it. I'm hoping. There's so many fails tonight. So many fails. G'day, Rama. How you going? You just joined at the optimal time. Me and Shane have been troubleshooting PowerShell failing. Just really, really dumb typos. Oh my god, I've literally been spending the last 2 hours just fixing dumb issues. So let's be hopeful that I have fixed this issue now. So I'm just going to quickly open this one. It's got an invoke read. We don't need an invoke read. All we need is to run this and see a response. Yes! We finally got a response. Oh my god. Alright, that's good. That's really good. Now we can validate that. Yep, there we go. So to give you a bit of an overview, Rama, what we've got here is a PowerShell remote execution bot. On Wednesdays I do PowerShell 101 with Michael and Christian, and part of our project is we're building a PowerShell bot framework, well, not a bot framework, but a remote execution bot. So what you can do is we have a C# service sitting here, which talks to Azure Function and Azure Automation. So it talks to Azure Functions via REST API. And then we have a client side, which basically can issue commands, which that server can then accept and then basically execute. So all this, so for example, this import CLI XML, all that is serialized PowerShell. So what I can actually do is here I can actually write a full-blown PowerShell script. So I can actually go, you know, like I can actually the way it's going to work is I can actually pass a full param block PowerShell script kind of out, process. And we can actually just do things like get process, like so. That will then submit the job, drop it into the database, which then if we do a quick select star, you can see that new entry in there, and that basically is a serialized PowerShell, which then the server can then download and execute. So yeah, g'day Perfect Dot. Like I was just saying to Rama, he joined at a really good time. I literally spent the last hour dicking around, forgive my language, but just making stupid mistakes with the Azure functions. So it's good though. It's really good. We've gotten the first part done. So I've rewrote my I've got a function here called invoke SQL, which basically I've had for a while, and I've just basically gone ahead and fixed it, which just added a whole bunch of extra parameters, and yeah. So thanks mate. You've been learning a lot. I've been learning a lot too, and I think the biggest thing I've been learning is to read my freaking errors. If I read that, we would have literally been done, and then like we've been sipping Mai Tais, like we've been so good. Yeah, so anyway, it's a learning progress. I failed hard, but you know, fail as they say in, you know, the DevOps mentality, fail fast. So we fail fast, we pick up, and we keep going. So I think the next thing we need to do is I need to focus on, we've got the HTTP send job done. We're going to flip it now, and we're going to do a HTTP receive job. So, HTTP start, we've got that done, and now we're going to do HTTP receive. So, what I'm going to do is I do need to implement the Azure triggers. The Azure storage Azure Key Vault. So that's the next important thing I need to do. I'm actually going to give that another go now. Since I know everything's working, I might as well give it a go. Like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So save that. If that works, perfect. I can remove all my extra code. When you automatically save, this will reload. So once that's reloaded, which I think it has, I don't think this is going to work. You can see it's kicking off in Azure. It's trying to load the Azure because of the time that it takes. So I'm guessing it's loading the Azure module, and then it's probably going to want an authentication. It's probably going to fail. Or it's sitting there in a hung state, which is even better. We'll find out. Oh my God. If that has worked, I'm going to be the happiest person alive. I'm going to be so happy. I didn't think that was going to work, but it's really slow. It's like awfully slow. That's like, if we have to go pull something like that each time because it has to load the module, that is so slow. Like, okay, I can understand, but like if you're trying to write something that's, quite extensive, and you've got like, large amount of processing, you've got a 30-second load because it's got to import the module and trying to connect to the Azure subscription and get to your tenant. And anyway, before all that, let's work out whether it's worked or not. So we've got 02D50. So we'll just see number 5. Oh, look at that. Sweet. Okay, we're done. Done. I can get rid of my code, which makes me happy, like so, and we're done. Also, big learning lesson is that we don't actually, the parameter block needs to be after the namespace block. That's just obviously with any sort of function as well. And I did the biggest herp derp, and I had my hard-coded password above it. So yeah, fun. All right, well, I'm going to rerun it again because I feel like it could be some sort of bug, and I need to see success again because we did have a hard-coded password in there, and we did somewhat override it. But if it didn't get a result, I don't know whether it would have set it or not. So like if it returned an empty result, would that overwrite the variable? Which I think it will, but I just need to make sure that yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, that's cool. All right, perfect. So HTTP start job is working in production, running like a boss. So let's get rid of all our out files. We don't have any more out files. Perfect. Okay, so that one's done. Now we need to focus on this one. So this is the complete opposite. This is actually taking a it's taking a query URI string, and from that, what we're going to do is we're going to basically use the key value from the URL key value pair, so the URI query string. And that's pretty much that. Obviously, everything's pretty much the same. The only difference is that it does a little bit of extra stuff. In terms of we're doing a select. Obviously, we've got a username and password. Because I'm super lazy, we're just going to copy that like so, paste, get rid of that. And so the way it works here is that GUID that you get back here, so this GUID is like your Azure Automation job ID. So I can now query just using that GUID. Now, admittedly, there's a security issues there, like more than anything else in the world. Like there's so many security issues, it's not funny. But the biggest thing is that GUID would be able to troubleshoot. Oh, so that GUID would be able to use to be able to extract the data. It's like your source of truth. If you lose the GUID, you're gone. So I could hypothetically write it wouldn't be, that would be like 2 seconds worth of work. You just add a switch where you can actually just query them all, but for the time being, we're just kind of like, I'm just needing to get this working. So the next thing we need to do is get our command text, items like that, and we need to paste that in like so. So like that. Now we then go grab our password, SQL password like so. Like so, and remember it's query GUID. Have I? Yeah. What I'm actually going to do here is I'm not even going to validate it, because at the end of the day though, it will pass if it's an empty string. Okay, admittedly it's susceptible to SQL injection, but again, this is just a demo project for me and my mate who's learning PowerShell. But what we're going to do later down here is validate the count. So if there's a count of equals 0, we know that there's nothing there. It's fine. It'll just do it where the GUID is blank, and then vice versa. Like, it's a little bit messy, but like, to be honest, I should validate that, but I'm just like, at the end of the day, I just can't be bothered. I might do it later when I do a bit of code review and clean up, but for the time being, yeah. So what we need to do now is I need to grab, did I grab the SQL password? Yes, I did. So, yep, I did. I'm just going to import that module. This is one of the things that I actually, hang on. I think, yes, that's okay. That makes perfect sense. I just had this thought. This is how this profile gets executed every time a cold start of your function app. Cold start occurs when a function app starts for the first time. So yep, that's how it works. That makes sense. Okay, so that's basically how it's connecting to Azure AD. I completely forgot about this. So when the function's cold, this is like your your initial startup script, your bootstrap. So you'd basically chuck all your items in here. That makes perfect sense now. Now I'm on board. Now I know what's going on. So that's it's getting loaded through the bootstrap. So even then, I actually don't even need import module up the top here, because it's already been loaded in the bootstrap, which means it's already been preloaded. So hypothetically, we can actually receive a job. So this should actually be a fairly straightforward one. Admittedly, it's probably not going to be, but we'll see how we go. So what I'm thinking here is just run it and see what happens. So we've got start PS remote job, get PS remote job. So I'm just going to use this as my example. Let's just run a get PS remote job. Yep. GUID, yep, you are right. Oh, better wrap that in a string and get rid of my insert. Don't hit the home button. Okay, that's a frustration. I'm gonna reload this because I forgot what my URLs are. Like, I'm literally that forgetful. So we can get this bad boy. The only reason why I'm running this in the ISC is because I've got a whole bunch of supporting functions in here. So I have no idea what I did there. So I've got convert from and convert to base 64. So it's just two commands I wrote that basically you can take an existing string and then encode it, and it's just basically done through the pipeline. So all I got to do is just do that. I'm going to debug this because I actually haven't even debugged this yet. So internal server error. That's fine. This time we're going to go read the error. So HTTP receive job, system by private, result failure. The script file has passing errors, missing statement block after else. Okay. Where's that? Well, firstly, let's go to the right one. Make sure I'm not. Where is that? Database keys. Duplicate keys, database names not allowed. Okay. So there's a couple of issues here. So, yep, there's one there. Clean that up. Missing statement block after else. Okay, so there is a bigger problem in here. That's that. Is it else facet? Yep, that's fine. Yep. Alright, let's save that. It's saved. Let's re-execute it. See an error, that's fine. Let's see what we get. Failure, exception, no parameter defined in script or function input binding request. Aha! That's because it ain't number one. It needs to be number one. Right there. So we need to move that bad boy down. Response body to be null. I'm just going to move that down. Right there. I'm going to clean this code up. I'm going to prettify it, but that is fix that issue. GUID query doesn't exist. Okay, so that's a good start. That means we're actually progressing. So we're now testing object query. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to dump out the request and we're going to have a look at the query. So I'm going to leave it here soon, so I'm just going to keep smashing this and try and, but then I might need to leave it. So it's failing there, that's fine. Let's have a look at why. It's called object. So here's my item. Dot query property. Ah, okay. The reason why is it just doesn't exist. That's perfectly normal. So, how is that being hosted? So the best way to find out this is one of the things I do. If you want to work out how that item's been hosted, convert the request to JSON. And then what we can do is we can actually import it into another shell. We can see that's failed. That's going to give us our object here. And now it's a JSON file. We can actually work out what it's trying to do behind the scenes. So you can see it's a key value there. It could be the fact that that's basically not properly running, but we can work that out. So if we just get content, I'm just going to call it here, get content, temp / object / convert from JSON content, and here's our object. So now if I go query dot GUID, that exists, but we're using test object property. It has the capacity to test key values. It could even just be that test object property doesn't exist here. No, it does. Okay. So what we can do here is I can do this. Chuck test object property in. Grab. Oh, what's that? Okay. Get test object property. Like so. And now if we paste that, we called it content. Exists. I think the reason why is because it's passed it as JSON, but it hasn't been formatted. So I'm just going to format it right in line there. Let's try that. Oops. Conversion failed. That's what I thought. Why did it fail? Unexpected character. That's interesting. So it is working. That's super weird. I'm going to need to look at that later. Where GUID is equal to that. You're missing the from clause. Oh yeah, whoops, my bad. Thanks, Shane. That's my database. DBA Life. DBA Life. SQL is something that I do on a day-to-day basis. Like I work with Microsoft Identity Manager, and a lot of our systems, like a lot of our issues, always pertain to always pertain to SQL views, and we don't like it's just, and I'm always going into an SQL view. It's just that, yeah, it's not my. I don't particularly like doing it, but at the end of the day, though, having SQL skills is probably one of the most important skills out there. It's like honestly, like I knew SQL since grade 11. And I remember learning it, going, why the hell would I learn this crap? And like, it is, to be honest, I've architected like so many databases. I've done so much work in SQL, and it's just so handy to have. Like if you don't know SQL, working with databases, like yes you can, and there's obviously other ways to do it, but just we're talking, proper SQL query syntax is just, yeah. Anyway, anywho, um, so why is unexpected character? So the interesting thing is that this is being passed. It's being passed fine. Where is it? So I'm doing a test object query, request query, doc, and it's looking for GUID. I'm going to do this quickly. Let's see what it does. Oh, that's right. I better turn the baby monitor on. Okay. Let's reload that. Okay, Shift F5 that. So that's the interesting thing. What's it outing to objects? That makes no sense at all. Test object property. Object request.query property queered. And it dumps out GUID. This should actually work, because the reason why is because I've tested this many times. So it's capable of accepting nulls, multiple strings, and if it's a type hash table, which it is, it should be capable of finding it. If not, get a numerator name. Reload that. Interesting. Interesting. Is it processing as a PS object? It might be processing as a PS object, and that's why it's not detecting it, even though it's a hash table. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to do a get member on the whole thing and work out what's going on. Do that. That'll tell me what's going on. What's that object? It's a dictionary. So, if we can work through the code, so we're looking for, I found a very first bug found a bug in this piece of code, which I haven't seen for a very long time, is that it is capable of processing hash tables, it's capable of processing PS objects, but it doesn't process dictionaries. Does it get a numerator? Yep. Okay, so what we're going to do, if object, else if object is that, this is the very first time I've had to update this code in a very long time, is type this. I just need to check if that exists. I think it's dictionary. I just need to check to make sure that's the correct class. Yeah, don't do that. says it's a, okay, we're gonna try this. Yeah, that is the first time that's ever happened, but that's good to know. That's really good to know. So, what we're going to do here is do that. Our object is that, reload it, see if that fixes it. I don't think this is going to work yet, so I'm just going to quickly drop a out file. I could test this outside this, but I'm kind of gunning for it. Is this the right one? Let's get PS remote job. Something happened. Did it throw an error? That's the question that needs to be known. Error, no results found, no results found. Okay. Did that get her here? Haha! Bam! Oh no, wrong one. No, it didn't invoke. Okay, I need to fix that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it there today. It's pretty much, yeah, I've been gone way over, but I think that's pretty much it for today. We've done a ton of debugging here, so we're basically moving in this process along quite well. Obviously, there's further debugging. I need to hook a debugger into it. That would obviously simplify this process significantly more without having to add any extra complexity. But I think, yeah, I think that we're just gonna leave it there for today. Yeah, what a journey. I think obviously we've learned. We've got the first part of it working, which is really good news. I need to troubleshoot that dictionary issue further. So I've never seen system.collections.dictionary being passed. But then this is at the end of the day though, this is .NET Core. So this is my very first that function's being called using .NET Core for the very first time. So that's going to be something that I need to obviously cater for. I think it's going to be fine in normal PowerShell, but obviously .NET Core. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much that. Like, obviously we've had really good luck with starting the PS remote job. So we've got that side of things working. We've got the database working. It's all hooked in. We've got the function working, so we're pretty much in a position now ready to actually move. Obviously, once we've got that other side, it's actually write the C# service itself. So that will just be a service running on the server side or the server side, which would then basically poll a REST function to check for a available, any available jobs, and then obviously send jobs. So we can probably write it to be asynchronous as well. So it'll just receive jobs and then asynchronously process that. But I think, yeah, we're probably gonna leave it there, mate. And thanks guys for watching. I really appreciate it. If you liked it, just definitely leave a like. Obviously follow me as well. If you're watching on YouTube, follow me on follow the channel. But yeah, anyway, thanks guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll hope to see you guys next time. Anyway, bye for now.